Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the strain gauge. Okay. So before going to discuss about the strain gauge, we need to know some basic parameter which are related to the strain gauge measurement. Okay. So first thing is that is the longitudinal strain. Okay. So what is longitudinal strain? It is the ratio between the change of length that is represented by del of L to its original length. This is longitudinal strength. So thus that is represented by E is equal to del of L by L. Then second point is the longitudinal stress. So what is longitudinal stress? It is equal to the applied force in per unit area. So it is denoted by sigma, that is equal to F upon A. F is the force and A is the representing the unit area. Okay. The third parameter related to the strain gauge is Young modulus. Okay. So what is Young modulus? According to the Hooke's law, Young modulus within the elastic limit, it is the ratio between the longitudinal stress to the longitudinal strain. So sigma upon E, and the unit of this Young modulus is kg per meter square. Okay. Now the fourth parameter, that is the Poisson ratio. Poisson's ratio, it is Poisson's ratio, it is the ratio between lateral strain to the longitudinal strain. Ratio between the lateral strain to longitudinal strain. Okay. So it is represented by sigma is equal to minus del of D upon D divided by del of L by L. Okay. So the upper part or the numerator part of this expression is representing the lateral strain. Okay, and the lower part or the denominator part of this expression representing the longitudinal strains. So Poisson ratio is the ratio between the lateral strain to the longitudinal strain. Now for understanding purpose, what is longitudinal strain or lateral strain? Okay, if we consider this dotted line representing the original length, okay, and this is the change in length. So L plus del of L. Similarly, for longitudinal strain, if at a time only one thing will be positive, another thing will be negative. If the longitudinal strain will increase or it's having the positive value, then definitely the lateral strain will having the negative value. This negative sign indicates this. This means if we going to increase, if we are considering this is a metal or a rod, if we are going to apply a force and this force will enlarge this metallic rod within its length, then its width, if we are considering this is D, that is the width of this rod, or you can consider the conductor, then when its longitudinal strain is positive, then definitely this thing will be negative. So this is D minus D of del of D. Okay, so this minus sign representing that if del of L is positive, then del of D will negative. Okay, at a time both can't be positive. Okay, now what is the definition of strain gauge? Okay, so strain gauge is an example of passive transducer converts a mechanical displacement into a change of resistance. Okay, so strain gauge is an example of strain gauge is an example of passive transducer which converts the mechanical strain into electrical resistance. Okay, so this is the definition of the strain gauge. Okay, so strain gauge is an example of a passive transducer which convert mechanical strain into equivalent electrical resistance. Okay, now so according to the type of strain gauge, there are so many strain gauge are there. Okay, first type of strain gauge are, that is mechanical, second one is the electrical, and third one is the piezoelectric. Okay, also we can say that the strain gauge is a thin wafer like device that can be attached to a variety of materials to measure the applied strain. So also we can say that a strain gauge is a thin wafer like device that can be attached to various materials to measure applied strain. Okay, now the type of strain gauge. Okay, so type of strain gauge, that is based on working principle, based on working principle, it will be mechanical, second one is the electrical, third one is the piezoelectric. Okay, so these are the based on the principle of working or working principle. Okay, and based on construction, these are the foil strain gauge based on construction. Foil strain gauge, second one is the semiconductor strain gauge, third one is the piezoelectric strain gauge. Okay, so here we are going to discuss about the based on working principle, that is the electrical strain gauge, and it is the type of resistance strain gauge. That means it is the type of strain gauge which convert the mechanical strain into equivalent electrical resistance. Okay. So resistance strain gauge. Okay, resistance strain gauge. The definition of this: the operation of the resistance strain gauge based on the principle that electrical resistance of conductor changes when it is subject to a mechanical deformation of the conducting material. Okay, so write down the working principle, that is the operation of resistance strain gauge is based on the principle that electrical resistance of a conductor, that the electrical resistance of a conductor will changes when it is subject to when it is subjected to a mechanical deformation. Okay, so this thing will be clearly understand when we are going to explain the resistance strain gauge elaborately. Okay. Now, so this is the basic operating principle of resistance strain gauge. Whenever mechanical deformation of conducting material will occur, the resistance of that particular material will changes. Now, the resistance of the conducting material is given by, so resistance of a conducting material or of a conductor is given by that is represented by R, and R is equal to rho into L upon A. So this is the expression of resistance, R is equal to rho into L upon A. Now, so what is R representing the resistance? Rho is the resistivity. resistivity of the material. Okay, what is L? L is equal to length of the conductor, length of the conductor, and what is A? A is the area of the cross section, area of the cross section. Okay, now take logarithm of this equation or equation number 1. Okay, take log on both sides of equation 1. So ln of r is equal to ln of rho plus ln of L minus ln of A. This is equation number 2. After taking the logarithm for the expression r is equal to rho into L upon A, we got this type of expression. Now differentiate this equation 2. So what will we get? Differentiate equation 2. What we will get? So differentiation will get d of r by r is equal to d of rho by rho plus d of L upon L minus d of A upon A. This is equation number 3. After differentiating the above equation or equation number 2, we got this type of expression. Okay, now so these are representing the changes in resistivity. This is the ratio between the changes in resistivity. Simply this is the if we consider from the left hand side, it is the ratio between the change of resistance to its original resistance, change of resistivity to its original resistivity, change of length to its original length, change of cross sectional area to its original cross sectional area. But the expression of cross section area, we know that. So expression of cross sectional area, we know that is A is equal to pi into d square divided by 4. We know this is the expression of cross sectional area or value of A. Now differentiate this expression. So if we differentiate this expression, that is d of A is equal to pi upon 4 into 2d into small d of capital D. So if you differentiating this expression of cross sectional area, we got this type of expression for d of A. Now so d of A upon A will become d of A, value of d of A is equal to pi upon 4 into 2 into capital D upon this thing, and this thing will become d into pi by 4 into d square. Okay, so d of A upon dA or change of cross sectional area to its original cross sectional area will become, that is 2 into small d capital D divided by d. We got this type of expression for d of A upon A, or the ratio between its change in cross sectional area to its original cross sectional area. Okay, now we are considering this thing as equation number 4. Okay, now divided equation number 2, that means this equation, by d of L by L. So what we will get? Divide this equation or equation number 2 sorry, divide equation number, this equation should divide equation number 3 by equation number, sorry, by d of L upon L. So divide equation number 3 by d of L upon L. So this equation become d of R upon capital R divided by d of L upon L is equal to d of rho upon rho by d of L upon L plus this parameter gets cancelled, so it will become 1 minus d of A upon A divided by d of A upon A divided by d of L upon L. Okay. Now so a value of this thing can be replaced, this thing will also replaced, and the value of this thing will also replaced. Okay. So d of R upon R and d of L upon L is nothing but that is the longitudinal strain and represented by E. Okay. So similarly here also is equal to rho by this thing will be E plus 1 minus here this thing will also replaced by d of D by d of L. Okay, this thing, so value of this thing will be 2 into d of capital D divided by capital D into d of an L. So this thing will be replaced. So here 2 is also there, so minus, let it make plus, minus 2 into d of capital D by D divided by d of L upon L. If we replace all the values with respect to the values in this expression, so we got this type of expression. Now further simplification of this equation will become d of R upon R. I am rubbing this. Okay, so further simplification of this equation will become d of R by R into E, d of capital R upon R by E is equal to 1 minus 1 plus 2 sigma into plus d into rho by rho divided by E, and one more thing, this thing is nothing but this is the value of, I have just mentioned the fourth parameter, that is the Poisson ratio. It is the ratio between the lateral strain to the longitudinal strain. So this thing represents the lateral strain and this thing represents the longitudinal strain. Okay, so this thing will be replaced by this. Okay, and minus sign is already over there. I have already explained why minus sign comes, because at a time if longitudinal strain is positive, then at that time the lateral strain will be negative. Similarly, if lateral strain will be positive, then longitudinal strain will be negative. So this sign, negative sign is represented this phenomenon for this negative sign is represented over there. So finally we got this type of expression, and if we want to write this thing, that ma is equal to minus 2 into d of D by D divided by d of L upon L. No, not 2 is here. This is the expression of the Poisson's ratio. Okay, so Poisson's ratio is simply replaced over here. Minus sign get cancelled. Okay, now so we got this type of expression. Now what this thing is known as, so d of R upon R by E and d of rho upon d of rho divided by rho upon E is known as the gauge factor, okay, or gauge factor. So d of r upon r by E and d of rho upon rho by E is known as gauge factor. Gauge factor. Okay. Now, what is gauge factor or definition of gauge factor? So, gauge factor is defined as the ratio of fractional change in electrical resistance to the longitudinal strain. Okay. Simply we can clearly observe that the gauge factor is the ratio of fractional change in electrical resistance to the, this is a longitudinal strain, okay, this is d of L upon L. So gauge factor is the ratio of fractional change, fractional change in electrical resistance to the longitudinal strain, okay. So G of F is equal to d of r by r by del of L by L, or simply d of r by E, or d of rho by E, or d of rho by rho divided by d of L upon L. So this is the ratio between the fractional change in electrical resistance to the longitudinal strain. Okay, this is the gauge factor. Now the construction of strain gauge. Okay, so the strain gauge is simply a register used to measure strain on an object when an external force is applied to an object. Okay, whenever external force is applied to an object due to which there is a deformation or mechanical deformation occur in the shape of this object. Okay, so due to this deformation, the shape either compressive or tensile is called strain, and it is measured by the strain gauge. Okay, and when an object deform with the limit of elasticity, either it become narrower and longer, or it becomes shorter or broader. As a result of it, there is a change in resistance end to end. The strain gauge is sensitive to that small changes occur in the geometry of an object. By measuring this change in resistance, the amount of induced stress can be calculated in terms of resistance. So simply, if we are going to concentrate the construction of, or the working principle of this resistance is this strain gauge or resistive transducer, or the resistance strain gauge whenever mechanical deformation will occur whenever mechanical deformation will occur to any conducting material the resistance of that material resistance of that conducting material will changes. Okay, so this mechanical deformation is due to the strain, and this strain is measured by the strain gauge. Okay, whenever mechanical deformation will occur to any conducting material, the resistance of that conducting material will change. This mechanical deformation is due to strain provided to that material and this strain is measured by the strain gauge. Okay, simply if we going to understand the working principle of strain gauge, if a conducting material, if we consider this is a length of a conducting material. Okay, now if we are providing a mechanical force or strain to that particular conducting material, okay, so if we are considering this is the initial stage or initial condition. So initially the length of the conductor look like this. Now if we are providing strain to that particular material, then what will happen? So if the stress is longitudinal, then it will increase its original length. Okay, so this will become after strain, after mechanical deformation. Okay, okay, so this is the initial stage or the basic length of the conducting material. Now whenever we are providing strain to that particular conducting material, the length of this particular conducting material will deform and it will increase. Okay, and ultimately the cross sectional area will decrease, A will decrease, L will increase. Okay, and we also know that the resistance is depending upon rho into L by A. Now if these two parameters are changes, the resistance of that particular material will also changes. Okay, so this strain will measured by the strain gauge. Okay, so and it is also converted into equivalent electrical resistance. So this is the working principle of the resistance strain gauge. Okay, now the construction of resistance strain gauge. Okay, the change in resistance normally has very small value. Okay, so it will occur the change in the value of the resistance or the mechanical deformation will very less. And to sense that change, the strain gauge has a long thin metallic strip arranged in a zigzag pattern on a non-conducting material called the carrier, okay, so that it can enlarge the small amount of stress in the group of parallel lines and could be measured with high accuracy, okay. So this is the construction of the strain gauge, okay. So construction of the strain gauge. It has a long thin metallic strip. It has long thin metallic strip. Okay. Arranged in zigzag manner. Okay. Arranged in strip. Arranged in zigzag manner, okay. On a non-conducting material called carrier, okay, so that it can enlarge a small amount of stress in group of parallel lines, so that it can enlarge small amount of strain into the group of parallel lines, and could be measured with high accuracy, measured with high accuracy, okay. Now sorry, if we are going to draw the figure of the strain gauge, it will look like okay, and here the parallel lines are there. Okay, so this is the constructional diagram of the strain gauge. Here so these points are known as end line end lines. This is known as grid. Okay, then shoulder tabs. These 2 points are known as shoulder tabs. Then end loops, active grid length, okay, backing and end summation. So this is the active grid length. Okay, so these 2 points are the connecting point to the any circuit where the strain is measured. Okay, and these are the parallel lines which can amplify the small value of changes or strain into high values, or amplified the high values through this grid. And this is the active length of the grid, these are the end lines of the grid. So this is the basic construction of a strain gauge. Okay, now how the strain gauge is used to measure the resistance. So simply it is, or the strain gauge is connected to a Wheatstone bridge. Okay, now strain gauge bridge circuit. Now the strain gauge bridge circuit. Strain gauge bridge circuit. Okay, simply the strain gauge is connected into a Wheatstone bridge circuit. The change in resistance is proportional to the applied strain is measured with the Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so the bridge will look like this. Then so this is the strain gauge bridge circuit. Okay, so the resistance change of the strain gauge is usually converted into voltage by connecting 1, 2 or 4 similar gauges as arm of Wheatstone bridge, which is known as strain gauge bridge, and excitation to the bridge, this R1 and R3 are the ratio arm, okay, and R2 is the rheostat arm of the strain gauge resistance. So R1 and R3 are the ratio arm, and R2 is the rheostat arm to the strain gauge resistance. R2 is the rheostat arm of the strain gauge. Okay. So now this is the circuit arrangement of the strain gauge, which is going to measure the strain, and further this strain is converted in terms of resistance, and further finally the output is come as a voltage. Okay. Now when the gauge or the strain gauge which is connected over here is unstrained, at that instant the voltage generation will 0 and it will null deflected, or it will shows the 0. So when the gauge is unstrained, the bridge is balanced and voltmeter shows the 0 value. That means no deflection will observe in the voltmeter when this gauge is unstrained condition. Now as there is a change in resistance of the strain gauge, the bridge get unbalanced and producing an indication to the voltmeter. That means whenever the strain will occur in this strain gauge, the balance of this bridge get disturbed and this voltmeter will start reading a voltage, which is the conversion of the strain gauge. Okay. The output voltage from the bridge can be amplified further by a differential amplifier. Okay. Look there. So how this is works. So at initial condition we having 0 voltage or 0 deflection, that means the bridge is under balance condition, as well as we are providing strain to this strain gauge, the voltage will generated, and this generated voltage in strain gauge will disturb the balance condition of the bridge, and this voltmeter will start reading a voltage which is generated by this strain gauge. Okay. And further this voltage can be amplified apart from this voltmeter by using an differential amplifier. Okay. So why the need of this differential amplifier? As we in earlier we have said that the strain having very small value, so this amount of small value should be amplified, okay, for measurement purpose or for observation purpose, or it will not clearly observe at the voltmeter. So for this purpose we are using the differential amplifier, which will use to amplify this voltage which having very less value. Okay. So this is the strain gauge bridge circuit. Now what are the uses of strain gauge? Okay. Now so this is the strain gauge bridge circuit. Now the thing is that some parameters related to the strain gauge. First thing is the sensitivity. Okay. So what is the definition of sensitivity of the strain gauge or resistance strain gauge? Okay. So sensitivity of strain gauge is described in terms of a characteristics called a gauge factor, defined as unit change in resistance per unit change in length. Okay. So the sensitivity of strain gauge, VT of strain gauge is defined as the characteristics called the gauge factor, defined as unit charge in resistance per unit change in resistance. Okay, so the sensitivity of strain gauge is defined as the gauge factor defined as unit change in resistance per unit change in length. Unit change in resistance per unit change in length or simply in terms of expression, that is K, that is the sensitivity. K is equal to unit change in resistance, that is del of R upon I by del of I by I. Okay, and the gauge factor, that is K, which is related to the Poisson ratio mu by the gauge factor is related to Poisson's ratio mu, that is equal to K is equal to 1 plus 2 mu. Okay, so this is the definition of sensitivity of the strain gauge. Okay, now what are the advantages of strain gauge? Okay, so advantages, as we shows the circuit diagram of strain gauge. Advantages, there is no moving part, so advantages. No moving part. So the mechanical losses or the mechanical fraction will be not present in strain gauge, and it is also small and less expensive. So these are the advantages of strain gauge. There is no moving part, due to which the mechanical losses of strain gauge will not present. Another thing is that it is small and less expensive instrument. What are the disadvantages? First thing is, it is non-linear. Okay, so by this thing what we can understand, it is non-linear, that means the relation between the strain to the resistance, it is not varied linearly. That means as we increase the value of a strain with respect to this, similarly the resistance of the value of the resistance will also increase. That means if we plot a curve that strain to resistance, that means this is the linear relationship, okay, between strain or resistance, whatever axis we are considering, resistance or strain, but the relation of these two should be linear. This is the representation of linear. and if it is not a straight line, then it may be like this. So this is the representation of non-linear. That means sometime it will also, we can say that if this amount of strain, if this is considering 1, so this amount of strain will causes high value of resistance. Okay, that means the relationship between the voltage, the resistance and the strain will not linear. So it is non-linear. This is the main disadvantage. That means certain increment in the strain will not result in the appropriate increment of the resistance. Okay, this is the non-linear characteristics. Okay, and one more thing also there. So as it is not non-linear, it should be calibrated. It should be calibrated frequently. Calibrated frequently. Okay, so these are the advantages and these are the disadvantages of strain gauge. Now, what are the uses of strain gauge? First thing is, it is used to measure the residual stress. Used to measure residual stress. Residual stress. Okay. Second thing is, it is used for vibration measurement. Used for vibration measurement. Third thing is that it is used for torque measurement. Torque measurement. Fourth thing is that bending, it is used for bending and deflection measurement. Used for bending and deflection. Deflection measurement. Fifth point is that compression and tension measurement. Compression and tension measurement. Tension measurement. Sixth point is that it is used for strain measurement. So these are the uses of the strain gauge. By using a strain gauge, we can measure the residual stress. Used for also, it is used for vibration measurement. It is used for torque measurement, used for bending and deflection measurement, compression and tension measurement, and the strain measurement. Okay, so that's all for today. The next topic will be discussed in the next class. So thank you all.